Well done, let's get started with Age of Darkness Final Stand. Now this game is a surprisingly good game. I wasn't expecting it to be this good. I just picked it up in this year's Steam summer sale for around 10 euros. So, that was kind of cheap. It had like a huge discount. It's not a new game by any means, but it's a very fun game. And if I had to describe it, I would probably say that it's like a horde-based survival RTS with base building elements and resource gathering, which is like everything that I absolutely love about RTS games. Let's just jump into survival mode. The game also has a campaign mode. I haven't checked that out yet. I have played the survival mode on easy, and I mean, I guess it's relative what easy is because I got absolutely destroyed. But we're going to be checking out veteran. Why? Because I like playing games on the hardest difficulty possible. So we'll see what we can do on veteran. Now, an interesting game mechanic is that the difficulty levels also determine how many saves you can do. So essentially you have one save slot per survival game. So in this case, we're also going to have one save slot. But the real question is how many times can you override this save slot? So in this case, on veteran, we can override it 5 times. On easy and on normal, you have unlimited saves. You can save every second if you want. It's fine. Okay. We also have a selection of factions, 3 in particular, and each faction has 2 hero units. This guy Edwin is the one I tried, and I think we're going to get started with him. But I'm going to go over all of them. Eventually, we're going to have multiple playthroughs of survival modes, and we're going to be playing different people, like Merrick, which is the other hero of the Order. We also have the Rebellion, who have expertise in expansion and tactical things. And also we have the Volatists, who are just aggressive. Well, okay. But the Order is based on around defensive things. So the Order has access to stronger siege weaponry and can research and obtain them more quickly and affordably. Okay, so we're going to be checking this guy out, and let's just head into the game. So I want this first episode to be essentially me passing over what I know about the game, like basic game mechanics, and then the rest we'll just figure out together in this playthrough and in the subsequent playthroughs. So thankfully you can pause the game by hitting space, which is awesome. Now the resource system is kind of unique, I would say. You can see it in the bottom right corner of your screen. Now 4 of these are accumulated periodically. And then Dark Essence you have to collect manually. So you won't be able to set up a Dark Essence mine, or for example. But the other things can actually be mined or gathered. And the way this works is you have this plus amount next to them. What that plus amount means is that when this little bar, which you can see below the gold bar, the little bar below it, when this accumulates, when it fills up, I should say, you will get that amount of resource. So in this case, when this bar is going to fill up, we're going to have 272 gold. Now we don't have that bar for lumber yet because we're not collecting any. And the same goes for stone and iron. So this is an interesting kind of game mechanic, is you have to wait for these lines to fill up before you actually get your resources. You can just, manually trigger your villagers to move the resources back to a collection place like in Age of Empires and Age of Mythology and all those more classic RTS games. So here we have Edwin, and we have a few units. Let's just start exploring. Now from my experience, Edwin and a few people can very easily take out most of these nightmares, and these are the nightmares that we're going against. The game has a ton of mechanics, by the way. It's like I said, you're going to see that it has a bunch of complexity, but also a nice little vibe and chill vibe to it, in the sense that it does not require you to micromanage things as crazily as in more classic RTS games. So let's set up a lumber yard. Once we take out these guys, and I can show you how we actually gather resources. The way resources are gathered is you pop down the collectors, or these mines or lumber yards, whatever you happen to be wanting to collect. And as you can see, it has kind of an influence. That influence determines how much resources you're going to get per tick. I'm going to call this tick when your little row fills up. And in this case, we would get 20 extra. It even says it's a bountiful deposit. So I think I'm going to put down the lumber yard over there. Now the way you can get started mining that or collecting that is by simply assigning your free villagers In this case, we won't have any because this automatically assigned 4. You can use this little menu over here. I'm going to pause the game. You can use this menu over here, this little control to control how many villagers you actually want to be placed in this particular lumberyard. I'm going to place all of them because we have enough, so that's fine. We can also pop down more houses, or dwellings. I'm just going to call them houses. And this requires food. Now, food is also not collected in the way that lumber, stone, gold, and iron is collected, because you need to be putting down these farms or food huts first, and then farms once you unlock them, and you will get that one amount of food. Now, what that means is it's not going to be filling up in time. You just receive an amount of food, and you can use it, or not use it if you want to, but it's kind of pointless. Now, I want to get started farming these creatures, because by farming them, our units gain boldness points, which will accumulate and make them emboldened. Yes. And emboldened units are much tougher and faster. So you kind of want to keep your people alive. This is like the most micromanagey thing in the entire game, is keeping your units alive so that they can get this emboldeness going. And the more people you have that are emboldened, obviously, your army is going to be stronger. Light the way. And also hero Edwin will gain experience from fighting, and that will unlock some of his abilities, well, all of his abilities. So you can see at level 2 we will unlock Enlighten. Next one is going to be Enflame, Crack Fire, and Flame Shield. And all of these are very powerful abilities. I step towards the abyss. So resource-wise, this is all the game is. Honestly, it's just popping down these collectors, mines, lumber yards, food huts, which I'm actually going to put down I don't know. As you can see, we also have a maximum amount of resources that we can hold at any particular time. This is different for each resource. Here you can see we can have a grand total of 50 wood. In terms of gold, we can have 500, and the others also have a limit, which we can increase by putting down storehouses. What's it officially called? Storehouse, yes. Okay, so we just lost the unit because I was too busy explaining. This first one is probably going to be a bit awkward, because I'm just focusing on explaining the game. But in the next ones, once we have the basics down, we can actually focus on the game even more. So you can just put down a quarry, which had a low amount of stone. So it's only going to get like 8 stone, I believe it was saying. Adventure awaits. Which isn't good, but because we don't really have any other stone. Well, we have one over here. We could have put it down over there, but that is much more difficult to defend. Because night is arriving, as we had the little pop-up. And here we can even see, if you hover over the top right-hand side of the screen, you hover over your little sun, you can see 20 seconds from now there's going to be nightfall. Now, at night, these creatures aren't as passive as they are in daytime. So that means they're going to attack you. Okay, let's just put down a few more houses. So by putting down a few more houses, we lose food, but we will gain available villagers. And we can assign these villagers to different buildings. So yes, this does indeed give us an extra 8 stone.
Well, this is going to be fun.
Actually, we might be able to push out over here if this is closed, and if that is closed up. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down another quarry over here, and this is like decent amount of 12. That's fine, because that will give us a total of 20 per tick. That's actually very nice.
What's the hold up?
The game also has formations. Interestingly enough, this surprised me a lot. So you can put down your units in particular formation. You can also hold position in this way. Now, with hold position, you kind of need to be careful, because if a ranged unit, for example, I believe, the spearman is ranged. If this gets close, it can just start attacking your units and they won't retaliate because they're in hold position. So I've already found that in extreme cases, this hold position is actually useful. Okay, so now let's focus a little bit on our economy and stuff. So we need to put down this training hall very soon to start turning villagers into military units. So this is the situation I was talking about. The spearman is attacking us and our units are not doing anything because they're holding position. So your military units also cost villagers but it's more like if you guys played Northgard, for example,
Eager and
that your
willing.
villagers will actually turn into those military units. So it's not like you just have
More
this
training?
amount of villagers and you can freely build military units. No, you actually need the villagers to be turned into military units.
Ready to face the
So this
dark.
is why like food and housing is going to be super important down the line. Okay. Speaking of food, we can actually put down so I can show you guys this as well. So this patch would give us a bountiful of 10 food, and like I said, this is just one pop of food. So I put this down, we will have 12 food in total, and that's it. You're not gonna get back that food. But I think I'm gonna put it here because here we can get 11 food. Okay.
What do you want?
Now, there's even more mechanics in the game, man. I mean, this is crazy. You also have a skill tree for all 3 categories of units. For example, melee units, and then you have 3 paths you can go down. You also have the same for ranged units, and you have the same for siege units. So there's a ton of things we need to go over. That's why I said that this first run is probably going to be like an introductory to the game, and then we'll get started with actually taking this seriously in the next one. Now we're just going to wait for the next stick of wood and stone, and we can pop down a little training hall, which will allow us to build more units. But because it's daytime, I'm actually going to move out with our units that we have to get that sweet Boldness rating going. Now, by the way, you can also move out at night, and that will give you extra amount of Boldness points. We have discovered an elite nightmare, which is gonna have Edwin tank all this damage. So this is an elite nightmare, but it's not visible during the day.
Got something for me?
It will only be visible during the night.
Silently.
But once you take it out, you can get some sweet rewards, like a bunch of resources. Because Edwin has just leveled up. Edwin emanates a golden aura that increases emboldening gains by 10% for any allies standing inside. So for example, this guy, who is already emboldened, by the way, you can tell by its little gold-like aura. And because it has this little icon, so this guy is emboldened. Now this guy is much stronger than the regular soldiers.
I'm already there.
You can also upgrade your keep. This is your main keep. You need to keep this alive at all costs. This is the point of the game, is to survive and keep this alive. I'm gonna pop an upgrade because this will increase our gold production. Gold can only be increased by upgrading the keep or gathering gold from gold mines. Gold mines are kind of rare in your initial area.
We stand in defiance.
By the way, the map is completely randomly generated, which is also a huge plus. I mean, I love games where you have random maps because it just increases the replayability by almost infinite. Very nice. But also the idea that you don't have to micromanage like crazy is also a very nice addition to this game, which I absolutely love. Now, at this point in the game, by the way, if you're trying this on veteran, you kind of want to have a big force already. So that's why I said that this first round is going to be more of an introduction, because I should have put down a lot more lumber yards, a lot more quarries, and also definitely barracks, or as they call it, the training hall.
Right.
Okay, let's get some XP for Edwin.
Hey, send me to battle.
Actually thinking about putting down a lumber yard somewhere over here. This is a bountiful of 19, that's very nice. Only decent of 13, but that's easier to defend, obviously. And we'll go with that 19. Okay, so as you can see, I've upgraded the keep to braced keep, and now we get 288 gold per pop, and we also increased the limit of our food and stone by 25 each. That's not too much, honestly. The storehouse is going to increase it by a lot more than that. But now I can put down the training hall. I'm going to put this in a kind of a grid setup so that we're not blocking ourselves. I'm going to put these guys back. We could even afford another training hall soon, so we can make up for some of this explanation. We might do that.
Ready when you are.
And then we'll go over some other mechanics. For example, one which you can also see here is the next Death Knight. That is also a crazy mechanic, which we will cover soon, and also the darkness in general, which also has a special kind of mechanic to itself, so very interesting. I'm gonna put down some static defenses like a double gate situation over here, which looks kind of
I'm
nice.
ready.
So you can see this is where the elite nightmare is gonna appear. We are not even going to attempt to take that out just yet, because that is like a crazy strong unit. But I am going to start throwing down some more fighting units. So we have a few options here from the training hall right off the bat. We have the classic soldier, which is good for tanking, close range fighters. We also have archers, pikemen, and then we have some more advanced ones like the light bearer. Like I said, we're going to cover the whole light mechanic soon. And then we have some of the crazier units like the Order Knight and the Arbalest.
Archer ready.
So since it's night, these guys are going to start gathering in boldness much faster. And by the way, we have an opening over here, I think. So I'm just going to move our newly trained units over here. Now, another very nice mechanic is, as you can see, this wall is now damaged.
Hey, don't touch
You
the
cannot
spear.
repair any building that is currently under attack.
Hey, send me.
But once they're not under attack, you can just click this repair all button, and this will just automatically trigger the repair on all the buildings where it's possible to be
I was
repaired.
born ready.
So this is very nice when you are expanding outwards. And by the way, this actually is
Moving
closed,
out.
so that was my bad. So this is also a very nice like kind of thing. You don't have to go over all your base, especially when it's like, you know, super huge and stuff, and just manually figure out, oh, is this damaged? Is this damaged? Okay, then I'm gonna repair this. No, you can just simply
What's the
click
hold
that button like so, and it's going to repair the buildings. Very nice. Overall, these are the kind of mechanics that I'm very happy about in this game.
Right, I'm
You
going.
can also get some upgrades. We'll pause until we do even more explanation. Sorry if that's a little bit annoying that I'm playing the game in this first one, but I wanted to get some, like I said, what I know through to you guys, and then once I have that ready, we can just play the game normally. So, what do we want to get? We can get plus 25% chance to ignore horror. Now, horror is a thing that these nightmares will actually give your units. Some of them can throw, well, how should I say? So some of them, yeah, they actually throw horror at you or cast horror at you, and those units will become much slower and weaker in general. So it's like the opposite of Emboldeness. This is nice. We also have plus 10 attack speed increase, and we also have plus 10 health increase. So all of these are actually very nice. I think I'm going to focus on the early game and just go for more of this attack speed. And as you can see, once you unlock one of these, the next row unlocks. So I cannot go back and get Fearless 1 or Stability 1. That's how it works. I can also go into ranged. Because I have some excess wood, I can actually burn this. This is actually super nice. Plus 25% increase emboldening. But also vision and attack range increase because they're archers, or every ranged unit. This is also very nice. Now the thing is, I believe if I recall correctly, if you unlocked one of the side upgrades, then you cannot unlock the one that's on the opposite side. So let's just test it. Let's go for the Emboldeness. Yes. So as you can see, this will only allow us in the future, well, in the next pop, to only unlock the one in the center or this one. If we go with Tactical 2, then the same situation is going to be for the next row. But if we go with Fury 2, then we can, at the third category, I should say, third tier, we can go for Eyesight 3 as well. So this is how it's... I don't know if this is like balancing reasons or something. I haven't really figured out why this is relevant, that it only allows you to unlock 2 if you unlock the one on the sides. But it is what it is. That's like the best way I can explain it.
On my way.
And then you have some crazier upgrades on the bottom, which will require some Dark Essence, which as I mentioned, you can only collect. Okay, let's get some more people. Let's get some more archers. I'm not going to put down too much static defense just yet, because I want to see how far... Now, this splitter, this is an asshole, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. And whenever this hits your units, I believe they're going to become horrified, yeah. So this is the horrified status. It also needs some kind of micromanagement. and they're strong as hell. This is a bigger problem actually. As you can see, it's barely taking any damage, but it's giving a lot of damage to us. So I think I'm gonna move everyone over there just to take out the splitter.
Right.
Okay, let's get these guys back. Now you can heal the Horrified status by moving your units next to a light source, for example, your keep. Now these aren't light sources, even though they actually illuminate, it seemingly illuminates the area, but they're not actually considered as light sources. As you can see, these units are still Horrified. But if you go next to a keep, and then later on you can build some towers even, which will also give you light, then they can also heal your units, which is absolutely a must-have to do, because you can't just run back to your main base all the damn time when someone gets Horrified. Now, Horrified also plays into your Emboldeness rating, because if your unit is emboldened, for example, this guy will never be Horrified. So that's also a huge motivation to actually build up your Emboldeness rating in your units. Holy shit, do we have a ton of resources, yeah. Okay, let's put down another trading hall, and let's put down some more dwellings. I think I'm gonna put down a food, just to use the space. I mean, this is kind of crap, only 7, but I want to use the space. Okay, let's micro this guy back, so hopefully it doesn't die. Units actually regenerate kind of quickly. So if you just do a little bit of micromanagement, you know, as you would do in like quicker games, just micro those back who are damaged, and then micro them back in. Like, as you can see, these guys are going to regenerate kind of quickly. So that's like a huge chunk of health being regenerated every time they're out of combat for a few seconds. Not sure about the exact time. Okay, so let's focus on a little bit more units. I think I'm gonna rally them to the other side.
Make
Okay, we
way.
have another splitter, which is awkward. They also do a ton of damage, so it's not just the Horrified status which is annoying about them, it's also the fact that they're actually super strong. I might risk this iron mine because we don't have any iron deposits just yet. Okay. Okay, let's just move these ones out of the way who are very much damaged.
Yeah.
So out of the question that these splitters are the more annoying units in the early game. Okay, let's just pop down that 3. We could build a tower over here. Put down a gate over there just for defenses. Okay. Okay, so another knight is approaching, and then we have the Death Knight. So I think I haven't mentioned the Death Knight before.
Got something for me.
What that is essentially a crystal is going to appear on the map randomly. And once that crystal pops after a certain amount of time, a horde of units are going to come out of that. Now,
Get on with
by horde, I literally mean a horde. So don't just think that, you know, some of these guys, like 20. No, we're talking about hundreds, and then later even thousands. And I'm not sure if on the higher difficulties it's going to be tens of thousands or later in the game. But it's a huge amount of units. So at that point, you really want to have a nice little army to defend, to hold that off. But the first Death Knight isn't really that big of a problem. As you can see, I put down a watchtower over here, so
proceed.
you can move archers into it or any kind of range units, and they're just going to start chipping away at all these nightmares. I do want to be careful not to trigger the elite nightmare, because that would be kind of awkward. Any kind of resources we can use for upgrades, I don't think so. I'm just going to focus on units for the time being. As you can see, we ran out of available villagers, but we do have some food, so that means we can put down some even more of these dwellings.
I am here.
But then we're also going to need more food. As you can see, we don't have any villagers to produce food, so we're going to have to wait for this dwelling to go up, so that the next food hut will have villager to produce food out of it. It's kind of like everything is connected situation. I'm going to put a villager in this one.
We stand in defiance.
If you have a sharp eye, you can probably tell that it is impossible to get most of these upgrades. Actually, at this point, all of these upgrades except for the siege upgrades,
I stand
because you don't have
prepared.
a high enough maximum capacity of
A
resources.
flicker in the
So
dark.
we'll definitely need to put down a storehouse very soon, once we have enough people to do so.
From the ashes.
So we can increase our maximum capacity, and that's the only way we can get up to like 100 wood or 100
Right away.
stone or whatever that we need. Okay, let's get these guys back. And for that, of course, the storehouse also requires villagers to be built. In this case, 8. So we're gonna need to put down more housings. You can also put housings on top of like farms, but what that will do is that will decrease the amount of food they will actually produce. So I could put down a house over here, but then this won't be producing, well, not producing, just it won't have a one pop of 8 food. It will go down to something like 7 or 6,
The light.
depending on
burns
how
strong.
crazy you build next to it. Like if I built a training hall right here, then this will probably be like 6 food or something.
I serve.
So you cannot exploit the game in a sense that, you know, you pop down the farm in a very good spot for like 8 food in this case, and then just build around it and just essentially reuse the space. Okay, Death Knight approaching in less than 4 minutes. Here we have the crystal that I mentioned, and once this pops, a horde of nightmares is going to take a random route to
Ready to
your
face the
city
dark.
or little town, and you gotta survive that. Unsurprisingly.
Born ready.
As for which route they take is random, but later on you can put down, let me just see if I can find it. Yes, the watchtower. A tower that highlights the next Death Knight path when a crystal is revealed. So if you put this down and it's within its range, it has a huge range by the way, but if it's within its range, it's going to reveal where all the nightmares are going to come from. Okay, we need more dwellings, but for that we need more food, so this is kind of the cycle. You need food for dwellings, and then you need dwellings for everything else.
Archer ready.
We'll see if we can survive this, and if not, then this is just going to be an introductory video, and we'll go with the next one. Who's also going to be Edwin, because we haven't really progressed much with him. He's only level 2. So, we're going to try playing him again. Okay, once we have this food. So here I can show you what I meant previously. So, by default, this is 11 food. But if I put a house over here, it's only going to be 10 food, and it's going to get even worse if I build around it. So that's why I'm careful not to build on top of... Like this is 7, so I don't want to screw up that 7 food. Okay, let's get some more housing so we can... once we have some villagers, we can also populate this food hut. That will give us even more food, so we can put down more houses, so on and so forth. Okay, so pop this. This is like 9 food immediately. So we can use that. As for darkness, there is a mechanic for darkness. So as you can see here, this isn't just like in normal RTS games, you know, where you don't have people there and okay, whatever. At night, nightmares can actually appear in these locations and start harassing you. So, for example here, I don't know if this is enclosed or not, but if it is, even though if it is enclosed, nightmares can still appear in this area at night and possibly just go for our base. So that is why eventually what you want to do is first build buildings in these good spots, which will actually illuminate a very small area around them. But then you can start putting down these light towers or fire, I don't know how to pronounce that, and fire towers, which will illuminate a huge area around them. And also heal horror effects, which is super nice.
We stand.
Okay, so less than a minute. Let's see if we can survive this. If not, like I said, don't matter. We'll just restart and actually focus on the game.
Hey, don't.
I think I went over most of the game mechanics. Like I said, this game has a bunch of mechanics to it, which is insane. I thought it was just like a random base building RTS game, and that's it. But with all these lightness and darkness mechanics, horrified status and boldness status, bunch of units that you can build, and also the micromanagement elements, and of course building out more defenses that I have. It is a very complex, and I must say it's a super fun game. I do recommend picking it up. I'm not sure about its full price, because like I said, I haven't played the campaign, but it does go on sale
Ready.
pretty often, from what I can tell. So you can
With haste.
definitely pick that up. Once it goes like to like 10 euros or something, it's probably $10, the way Steam works. That's very nice. So now the crystal has popped, and as you can see, that is a bunch of nightmare coming out of it. And there's also like this death fog, which also is in connection to illuminated area and not illuminated areas, because as you can see, it covers everything. So we're kind of limited to these areas where we do have some little bit of light going. Because if you go into this, your units are going to be immediately horrified and also take damage. So that's definitely not something you want. Now you can also see a little bit of a skull on the minimap that indicates where the horde is. And on the right hand side, you can see that this first wave contains 258 nightmares.
Here.
Now that is probably an insignificant amount compared to what we're going to be facing against later on in this game. But it gets crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, so it's obvious that they're going to come from this direction. We could meet them in the open field, or just chip away at them at our gates.
All right, I'm
I
going.
think I'm going to attempt. I'm using formations again. And now I'm going to set all these units to hold position until they get closer, and now just attack them and see what we can do. So the splitters are indeed a problem. Not sure if we can snipe them, probably not. Okay. Edwin has unlocked Inflame. I'm gonna pop it, so that will ignite his great sword, and anyone who strikes will catch fire, and that will deal damage over time. Okay, so we actually survived this surprisingly well. So the first Death Knight, at least on veteran difficulty. You can only play on higher difficulties than veteran once you completed the game on veteran. Or, I'm not sure if it has to be on veteran actually.
On my way.
And by completed the game, I mean you have survived all the Death Knights. Okay. Now after each Death Knight, you get a blessing. This blessing is permanent to your entire session. And are very good. All construction times are 15% faster. Hell yeah. All buildings' vision radius increased by 30. I think that's way better than 15% faster construction times. 15% chance to gain 2 units for every unit trained at the training hall. So essentially 15% chance that if I train an archer, I will get 2 archers for 1 price. This is also very nice. I'm thinking about the building vision radius. And I'm thinking I'm going to go with that, because 30%, I mean, look how much it illuminated.
Our defenses are
Crazy
under
amount.
attack.
Yes, because I don't have any units. So this is what I meant. At night, they appeared in these areas, and now they're attacking this building, which they will also take out. It's
Embers
fine.
guide me.
You can send these guys. But since it's no longer night, they're not going to be aggressive. They're just going to start chilling. But because this was covered in darkness, we kind of need to clear this area out again. Okay.
Very well.
Let's just pop out repairs, and I'm definitely gonna go for the storehouse next. Yeah, let's put down this dueling again, and then go for the storehouse. One more mechanic I didn't actually cover is that when you have a production building, well, a resource gathering building, I'm not sure what's like the best way to explain these guys, like lumber yards and quarries or whatever. So they have an influence range, this circle. What this circle means is I cannot put another one that's within range of the previous one. So for example, here I can put down another lumber yard because it's intersecting with the previous one's circle. I could put it down somewhere over here even, because this is like free of the previous ones. here as well. Here I couldn't put one because it intersects with that one up there. And the same goes for like most of the things, even quarries, which isn't that relevant because you rarely find quarryable things next to each other. But as for food huts, that is like super important to utilize the space as much as you can. So for example, this is in a pretty shit spot because I could have put it over here and then we could probably squeeze one more over here. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna sell this. It is a bountiful of just 9, but this way I think I can somehow, yeah, if I remove this, I can squeeze another farm in here. Right, so that was actually worth it because I went from 11 food to a total of 18 food with that move. Now I think I explained everything that I know about this game,
Ready when you
but who
are.
knows? Maybe not. So unfortunately this isn't enclosed at all.
It's the dark.
Okay, I'm gonna start pushing out over here, and with this huge army I'm gonna start pushing this direction.
Get on with it.
Another elite nightmare, okay. Luckily it's daytime. So we have some food, but we need to
Archer ready.
put this back. So that will become an 8 that I don't like. I think I'm just gonna start building upwards.
Swiftly.
Once you have like a nice amount of units who will barely take damage because someone else can always tank the damage from the nightmares, that's when you will start gathering in boldness very quickly. And also just making way. Like here, as you can see, by the time they actually attack you, your archers have taken out most of them. Very nice. Okay, let's just fall back just a little bit, so for some regeneration. Let's see if we have something. This is a big area, holy. Okay, let's ignite that great sword again. Okay, we can just push forward with Edwin. Defense-wise, I'm gonna need to still split between our units. So yeah, I'm not gonna build this, I'm gonna build the storehouse. So storehouse's influence will actually increase the production of whatever building is inside it, while building as in lumberyard or quarry. So I'm gonna care about farms, because farms don't accumulate over time.
What now?
So I'm gonna pop down the storehouse, and that's going to greatly increase the limit of resources that we can store. Okay, I think once we're done with this, we can actually fall back. Now this is something that I do want to set up some static defenses in, especially because we have a huge stone deposit over there. But because just ultimately we can build a bunch of buildings. Imagine the amount of food huts you can build here. So that is definitely something that I'm going to defend. I think these guys are going to be enough to hold off the nightmares. Let's set some hold position. Do we have any units over here? Not
What do
really.
you want?
We have some down here. Okay, you guys hold that position, and we will move up here.
Right.
I think this watchtower is gonna fall, or maybe not. Okay, let's see how our storehouse is doing. Very slowly, but surely it's building. Another food hut. Let's see if we can get a nice bountiful of 10. Very nice.
Yes?
Okay, so that is no longer being attacked, so I can pop a quick repair on them. I think we'll actually start pushing down here. Still don't want to... Elites. We've encountered an elite nightmare. Elite nightmares stir only at night. Defeating them will yield significant rewards. Elites will disappear come daybreak. Yep.
Ready.
Okay, storehouse is down, and we went from 75 to 150 food limit, for example. Or not food, wood limit and stone limit. Super nice. Okay. Point of interest. Okay, that is a mechanic I haven't gone over yet.
Onward.
So this point of interest, there are different types of it. This one is a resource one. You can indicate it by the gold. What you also have, let's see if we have seen. Yeah. So this is like a tent. You can capture these by defeating all the enemies around it. And as you can probably imagine, it has a bunch of enemies around it. But once you defeat them and stay within the circle for a certain amount of time, you will capture these points. And resource points were guaranteed resources. It will just throw out a bunch of resources which you can collect by running over them with your units. And the tents will give you a few units. From the ones that I've
What now?
captured before, the tents are kind of,
I'm ready.
I wouldn't say scams, but they can be scams in certain ways, because later on when you have like a ton of
Alright,
units
I'm going.
guarding it, but in return you get like one arbalest and one order knight, it's kind of disappointing, right? Because you have invested a lot more than you actually gained by capturing it. I think soon I'm gonna throw down a save. Not sure how we're doing, but it's still 3 days until Death Knight. Not sure if we can come back from the initial loss that we had
Ashes.
by my little intro to the game. And this is also enclosed. Ooh, this is a very nice spot. I'm gonna put down a quarry as soon as we get that nice pop of gold. And that means that we only need to defend this area over here, put down some static defenses, and that will cover this entire place. That is very nice.
Get on with it.
So here our units are fighting, except for our archers who's on vacation for some reason. Gonna keep an eye out on that pop of gold. Okay, let's put down this quarry. And you can also only build on area that you have active
Moving
light on. This splitter is gonna be an issue. Let's wait for one split. Of course, it ain't stupid. It's not gonna be splitting on the
Archer ready.
last few units. Okay, nice. Let's put down a quarry. 12.
What
Okay,
now?
very nice. Let's what?
Ready
That's
when
something.
you are.
Let's just start building some static defenses over here, because this is definitely, this is our point of interest in a way. Okay. Hotkey wise, the game is amazing. You will see. So this is what I meant by popping a resource.
On my way.
It's a lot of iron. This was a good one. Like, this was a good investment, you know, because we got a bunch of resources that otherwise we would be collecting 3 per pop from this iron mine. So that's super nice.
Onward.
Okay, we can secure this and then build a bunch of buildings around this. We could even probably put down another storehouse next to this mine, so we can increase our production.
Aye.
I think I'm gonna start fruit huts from here. Can we squeeze? Yeah, it's only 7, but like I said, we need to squeeze them in. You can also upgrade, unlock a bunch of technologies. We'll look at that soon. Hopefully we'll survive until we can look at that. You can also put down fishing ports,
I'm ready.
which has a hidden mechanic of, like, here, sorry, just getting sidetracked. So here an elite, not an elite, but a nightmare appeared. So a fishing port will occasionally give you gold as well.
Dark encroachers.
So it's also a very nice thing to have, and also gives us a bunch of food.
I serve.
I think I'm gonna throw down a save and call this one episode,
now?
and then when we come back, we will continue our little run. So this is the saving. You just click it. It's gonna warn you that you have 5 saves remaining. Okay, fine. Game successfully saved, and you can roll back to this save, but you don't have like save slots for different session for a session. You just have one.